What about the Christians that go into the tribulation and those that get saved in the tribulation? There's no doubt, you can't deny, as we're going to shortly see, that Christians go into the tribulation, some of them, those that love the world, the things of the world. They're not ready, their lamps aren't lit. They're the prodigal son. They just love the world and the things of the world. Maybe some of them, their heart, their attention, their love is to things and concerns of this life. And there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. But what about the ones that go into the tribulation? What are they going to do? What are they going to be doing? We're going to see that in a series of messages here. The Christians that go into the tribulation and the ones that get saved in the tribulation. But some, many, most are teaching you that no Christian can go into the tribulation. That everybody that ever said yes to Jesus will get raptured before the tribulation starts. And we've seen that before, but we'll start this series of messages with proving there's Christians in the tribulation. And there's ones that go in, and there's hundreds of millions that get saved in the tribulation. So let's start and see first that there are Christians in the tribulation. There's no doubt about it. Because in Revelation 7:9, we see, after these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude, which no one could count. John sees this multitude of people that no one can count. He said it was vast. From every nation. These people are from every nation on earth. And from all tribes, peoples, from the jungles, from the deserts, from the areas that have just received the gospel, to the most developed countries, all nations, and all tribes, and all peoples, and all tongues, all languages from around the entire earth. It doesn't matter what language they speak. These people are involved in that. Standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes. This people from every tongue, tribe, people, language, every single language upon the earth are standing there clothed in white, and palm branches were in their hands. And in Revelation 7:13, later, one of the elders answered me, saying, these who are clothed in these white robes from every nation, tongue, tribe, and people, imagine that. The very rare languages around the earth. Every language has people here. Every nation, every tribe, every peoples. There's peoples there. And this elder, one of the 24 elders, says to John, these who are clothed in white robes, who are they? And from where have they come? And John said to him, my Lord, you know. And he said to me, these are the ones who come out of the great tribulation. And that great tribulation can mean great suffering, great agony, great distress. The great tribulation. Tribulation as we know it. These have come out of there. They're dressed in white. They're singing hallelujah to the Lamb. They're standing on the throne of God. And this elder tells John they came out of the great tribulation. And they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. For this reason, because they washed their robes, and listen to that, saints, and they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. They washed their robes. Salvation is a free gift, but what do you do with it? If you're walking in the flesh, in the world, in Babylon, in Egypt, in sin, you may and do, many have that free gift of salvation because you've called upon the name of the Lord. But these have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. For this reason, what reason? Because they washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. For this reason, they are before the throne of God and serve Him day and night. So we see there's no denying. There's Christians from every tongue and tribe and people, the remotest languages upon the earth, the scarcest people with the rarest languages. They're here. Some of them are here. They've received Christ. They're washed in the blood. They're ready. They're prepared. They're washed. They're ready for their wedding. And they're standing here before God. Now, many people, in a silly way, they want to tell you that every Christian will get raptured before the tribulation, no matter what they're doing, and then Jews, as Jews, will go around the entire earth during the turbulent times of the tribulation, and they make the tribulation, they're on the broad road to destruction, they make it much worse than it's going to be. But they tell you that Jews, as Jews, will go around the entire earth in the 7 years of the tribulation and preach to every nation, tongue, tribe, people, even the remotest people in the rarest parts of the most remote jungles. They're going to do that. Saints, silly is silly. The church will do the church's work. These were dressed in white, as it said in Revelation 9:7-9. Standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, white garments. As we've said before, the last two churches in the book of Revelations, the message to the church, Philadelphia and Laodicea. Philadelphia, he had not one bad thing to say about. And he told them in Revelation 3:10, because you have kept the word of my perseverance, I also will keep you from the hour of testing. That hour which is about to come upon the whole world to test those. Because they kept the word of his perseverance. Because they persevered. They walked with God. He said he'll keep them from that hour of testing. And then, once there's gone, once those that are ready, waiting, watching, they're walking with the Lamb. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. Their lamps are lit. After they're taken in the pre-tribulation rapture, what's left? Laodicea. And what does he say about Laodicea? And why is it so negative? Because those that were ready, waiting, watching, and were prepared, they were taken. And then what does he say about the ones that are left? I know your deeds, that you're not hot nor cold. I would that you were hot or cold. So because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. He's saying here he hates mixture. He hates them being mixed with the world and the flesh. He wants them walking with God, but they're not. And what do they say? This is what they think. In verse 17, because you say, I am rich. They're saying, I'm rich, and I've become wealthy, and I have need of nothing. And you do not know, he says, that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. He says, I advise you to buy from me gold refined by fire. Listen, saints, that you may become rich, and white garments that you may clothe yourself. He tells them to get white garments. to clothe themselves. They were naked. They weren't prepared for their wedding. They were in the flesh. They were in the world. They were in Babylon. They were in Egypt, and they were loving it. And he told them, and white garments that you may clothe yourself. And then you see these ones that come out of the tribulation from every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. And he says, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes or white garments. So this is the ones that aren't ready, aren't waiting, aren't prepared. And they get themselves ready. That's what it says. They have washed their robes. It's the bride that wasn't ready yet. She wasn't dressed. And we're going to see what's going to become of those Christians that go into the tribulation and the hundreds of millions that get saved in the tribulation. Because how is it from every nation, tongue, tribe, and people, even the rarest tribes, the rarest languages? Because the Christians that are out there that are not ready, not waiting, not watching, they have that seed, they have that word, and they're going to preach to the rest of the world, those that aren't saved. And we're going to see their messages in future messages on this subject. We're going to see what they're going to preach, exactly what they're going to preach, and who they're going to preach it to. And what did the Lord say about this? Referring to the end times, in Matthew 24:14, he said, and this gospel, the good news of Christ dying for them, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world for a witness to all nations. You see that, saints? The whole world and all nations. And then the end shall come. The saints that go into the tribulation will be preaching in their own languages, to their own people, in their own nations, and to their own tribes, the gospel, as they see that they weren't ready, like the Lord said concerning it coming. And they did not understand. They don't understand now. They're being told it doesn't matter what you're doing. They're loving the world and the things of the world. And they're told it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're going to be caught up, and then God's just going to destroy the ones that were left. He's going to forcibly take you. Even if you have concerns here, even if you say, I'd rather stay for that 3.5 years and preach to my kids. I want to help my unsaved relatives. I want to help my neighbors. I want to do that because I wasn't ready. They say it doesn't matter. You're going. No, the ones that aren't ready, aren't waiting, aren't watching, they love the world and the things of the world, they will still be here. And in Matthew 24:39, and they did not understand until the flood came, until the tribulation came, and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So we're going to go through a series of messages, and we're going to see those that go into the tribulation, that aren't ready, aren't watching, aren't waiting, and those that get saved in the tribulation through and by those Christians in those nations, tongues and tribes and peoples, what they're going to be preaching, what they're going to be doing as they prepare, as they get dressed, as the bride readies herself for the marriage supper of the Lamb.